So today we're going to talk to you about our own mindfulness practice and how we've got that implemented and what it looks like. And maybe it will help you on your own journey to find balance in your day. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Dee with AlphaOmegaWellness.com.
I'm Megan.
This is my wife. And so we just wanted to come on and give you a little practical video that basically talks about how we do mindfulness throughout the day. We did another video that you can reference here, and in that I talk about the importance of balancing that sympathetic tone, fight or flight, and the parasympathetic tone, rest and relaxation. So we thought maybe it'd be a good idea to just share what we do. Maybe it's something that you can implement.
Every morning we start our day off together before we even get out of bed with prayer with one another.
Yeah, so we pray out loud together, and obviously you probably figured out that our worldview is a Christian worldview. It's still shocking to me how many Christian couples don't actually pray out loud together. Like we pray, but it's separate,
Right, and we acknowledged that when we started it, it was going to feel awkward and we were going to laugh praying out loud together. Because it's not like the prayers that you say around the table quickly before you eat. It's more of an intimate prayer that can just feel a little awkward when you're praying over your spouse and over the people that you love and over your community. And the more you do it, the less awkward it gets, and the more, the deeper the connection you have with your spouse, especially when you're praying over them for their day and for just their protection.
Or guys, when your wife thanks the creator of the universe for how you lead your family, it emboldens you. Like it makes you really want to step into that even more. And so when I coach couples on this, I tell them, like, hey, start praying out loud together and just say up front, this is going to be awkward. And I think if you say that, I think it makes it a little less awkward. And I've not had one person come back to me and go, oh, hey, that thing that you told me to do, like if they actually do it, where they're like, yeah, like I didn't like that. Like people come back and they're like, oh my gosh, that's been a game changer in our marriage. And so something about just making that your foundation and, from that mindfulness perspective, what's it doing? It's raising that parasympathetic tone. We talked about that in the other video where it's like improving rest and relaxation. And for us, it's how we start the day. There's a quote out there that the first hour of the day is the rudder for the whole day. And if you've lived more than 10 years, you realize that that's true. Like how you start your day really dictates how the day's going to go. Like the times when I used to just roll out of bed at the last possible minute to shower and rush out the door, and I'd leave the house 3 minutes late and I'd show up for work 3 minutes late. Shocking, because I couldn't make up the time. And so it sets the tone for the whole day. Well, our getting up early and making that a priority, it also sets the tone for the day.
Right. And the occasional mornings that we are running late, that doesn't happen. You feel it. Yeah.
But that's more the exception than the rule, at least.
Absolutely.
So after we pray out loud together, I go downstairs and make the coffee, and then Megan comes downstairs and she tells me that I make the coffee better. So it's always my responsibility.
Yes. It's true.
But then we usually have a devotional that we're doing in the Bible app. So that's the YouVersion app on your phone. It's a free app. So we've been for the past, 9 months or so doing a devotional together, usually about leadership or business, because that's the season that we're in our life. And then we usually have some separate reading that we're doing as well, just for our own personal spiritual growth. And sometimes I will journal. I don't do that all the time, but I try to do it, a couple of times a week at least, so that when I do hit a snag in life and life is hard, it's already kind of in my mind that journaling is going to be a great thing. And I think that that's a good mindfulness practice that you can start.
Writing down your gratitudes in that is also a big game changer too.
Yeah, because there's this idea that like what you look for is what you'll find. So I believe that it's impossible to be both grateful and miserable at the same time. Because when I'm focusing on all the things that I'm grateful for, I can't have disdain for other people. I can't harbor resentment.
Well, that's the Philippians verse that you always quote.
Yeah, Philippians 4:8 think on things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy. I think that's one of the keys to avoiding anxiety. It's like, what are we looking at? And so for me, sometimes during the day, I will say that verse or a different verse, almost like a mantra, if I need to get out of my own head.
You're losing your mind over whatever.
Right, which I do. And then what about the end of the day?
So the end of the day is much like the beginning of our day. When we're winding down, we pray. And we actually started this by doing 5 gratefuls. We'd go back and forth. And
I forgot that.
Yeah, we don't do that as much anymore just because we've gotten to such a good place. But when we were in a much rockier place, we would do 5 gratefuls and we'd go back and forth, and we'd have to make sure we did not repeat a grateful, and that was a very fun game that we got to do. But if you are in a rockier place, that is a wonderful way to kind of get to a way to help your mind end the day on a very happy note, is to come up with 5 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And then end it in prayer.
Yeah.
And so
and I guess practically speaking, how do we pray out loud together? So one of us will start, and then we give a little squeeze, and then the other one will finish up and land the plane. And so that's how we do it. Then we kiss each other goodnight and we go to sleep. I add on, sometimes I have an app called Breathe. It's spelled BREETHE. And so that does kind of this guided meditation or like sleep hypnotherapy. If I'm still having trouble shutting my mind off, I'll put my AirPods in and listen to the British people tell me about how to breathe and what to think about. And it's soothing. Again, that's part of that mindfulness. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I love about what we're doing is we're leading by example, teaching our children how we start the day.
Right.
And because they always know, like before 7 a.m., mom and dad are downstairs having their quiet time. And so I hope that they incorporate that more automatically instead of waiting until they're, for me, in my mid to late 40s before I started doing that.
Right. Well, and our 6-year-old now, he comes downstairs and he has a devotional that he wants to write in.
Yeah.
So he's not always consistent about that.
Yeah.
He does write in it, which is cute. I found that one on Amazon.
So hopefully this kind of helps you and can kind of give you some benchmarks of things that you can incorporate, and you can pick and choose what you want to do. But I do think that a lot of the health and wellness that we have, we probably forget about that, but it's because we have this as a habit. And it is ingrained. There's never a question of like, do you want to go downstairs and have quiet time? It is on autopilot. It's like brushing our teeth before we leave the house. And so, yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you guys. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this with your friends, because most of us are not getting this mindfulness, the spiritual side of life right. We're not paying attention to it, and I want to encourage you to do that. And then, I just want to tell you that I think ultimately what heals lives, what healed our relationship was a relationship with Jesus. And so if you have not found that, don't disregard that. Don't skip over this part of the video, because that's just really important. We were designed, I believe, to worship something. For most of my life, I worshiped me. But when I really got things in order and I put, God above everything else, then I put my wife above everything else, and I made myself secondary to all these other things, like my life got better. And so now we have a house that's full of joy and peace and abundance and love. And so let me just encourage you to take a look into that part of your life and address it, because I think that you'll be shocked at how much things can change for the better. Love you guys. I'll talk to you next time.